Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to be in one of my favorite stories in the Bible this morning in Luke 8, and it's the story of the woman with the issue of blood. So in this story, we start, and Jesus is on the way to the house of a man named Jairus, whose daughter is dying. And so Jesus is on his way. Jairus has asked for him to come and heal his daughter, and they're passing through this crowd. And Luke tells us that in this crowd, there was a woman who had been sick for 12 years. She'd exhausted all her resources and come to the end of her rope. And so in this moment, she finds herself pressing through the crowd and reaches out and touches the hem of Jesus' robe and instantly is healed. Luke 8, verse 45 says, "Who touched me?" Jesus asked. When they all denied it, Peter said, "Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you." But Jesus said, "Someone touched me, and I know that power has gone out from me." Then the woman, seeing that she could not go unnoticed, came trembling and fell at his feet. In the presence of all the people, she told why she had touched him and how she had been instantly healed. Then he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace." I feel like this is a story a good amount of us might be familiar with. And typically when I hear it talked about, it's in the context of healing and receiving your healing. And I think that that is such a key element of this story. But there's something else that I want to pull out and focus on this morning. And that is in this moment, there were a lot of people brushing up against and touching Jesus, but only one who intentionally reached out and experienced his power. You see, I think a lot of us can brush up against a relationship with the Lord, but not all of us truly seek him. And I think this can be especially true at a Christian university where we're brushed up to the Lord continually by our circumstances. Think about it. You sit in chapel twice a week. You're in classes where your professors talk about the Lord. You are around people who talk about the Lord. You might be on a prayer set or a missions team. And hear me, these things are such an abundant and wonderful gift of our university. And there are so many things that can set us on our path to following Jesus. But while there is beauty in the things that brush us up against a relationship with the Lord, I want to caution you that it does not stop there. If the environment ORU provides us only serves to brush us up against a relationship with Jesus and not actually set us onto a path of intentional pursuit and relationship, we have missed something so key. If the only thing you leave here with is that, you will likely find yourself disillusioned and confused as to what happened to your relationship with the Lord when you've left. If other people, your circumstances, or even ORU itself are a crutch for your personal relationship with the Lord, as soon as you are removed from the crowd, you may fall. Some of us are so focused on the attributes that come out of pursuing a relationship with Jesus, the joy, the peace, the blessing, the spiritual gifting, the healing, that we forget what it means to pursue a relationship with Jesus himself. This woman lived over a decade of suffering, but it led her to a blind faith and an intentional reach toward Jesus that she might not have had at the beginning of her pain. And man, if this is not just a reminder of the fact that even though our road is not always the short one or the easy one, the Lord is still working and his plans are so much greater. So if I could leave you with anything in this 6 minutes this morning, it'd be these three things. 1, the Lord wants to have a conversation with you. What we notice in this moment is when she reaches deliberately toward Jesus, it results in an actual conversation with him. And one thing I want to pull out about this conversation is it was vulnerable. She came forward and brought her authentic self before Jesus, and I think that is such a key piece of stepping in and really reaching toward an intentional relationship with the Father. Number 2, Jesus wants to have a relationship with you. This is just a reminder of the Father's character. In this moment, Jesus stopped in the middle of a crowd on the way to save somebody's life, by the way, because this woman mattered. So for those of you sitting in here right now thinking, man, I really have just been brushing up to a relationship with Jesus and not intentionally reaching, I want you to take a second and see this picture of Jesus, so willing and so ready to stop and meet this woman exactly where she was at. He is waiting for you with grace and open arms. Number 3, get alone with God. Let us be a people and a university who do not brush up to Jesus by circumstance, but a people who intentionally reach toward the Father. Now, for my fellow practically oriented people in the room, hi guys, you might be sitting there thinking, Liv, this sounds great. This is wonderful. What does this look like in practice? How does this transition when I wake up on Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and Monday morning, and honestly, I just have one thing to say to you, and it's get alone with God. Get on your knees, get in the Word, get in conversation with Him, because everything else will simply be brushing up to the Lord if it is not rooted in a relationship with Him behind closed doors. So, this morning, let's cultivate an intentional and personal relationship with a God whose heart is so for us.